Welcome back to episode 26 of the Daniel Dargan Podcast. We are back with another banger, joined by none other than the man himself, Dean, my younger brother. How are you, bro?
Fantastic. Ready to get cracking here. Woken up early this morning by you, so we're out of bed, but we're getting through it.
Some people would dream to be woken up by me. No? That's a big-headed statement. That's a big-headed statement to open the podcast.
Bro.
Dean, straight off the bat,
Right.
why is it a mistake for people to buy a house to live in their 20s?
Okay, so me and Dan were talking the other day on the beach. I'll give a wee bit of a background. And I was looking at getting into, obviously, renting out houses, buying the let. And when I was looking at the mortgage plans, 25-year plan worked out at 890 payments. So then it got me thinking, it's like, you see 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds obviously moving in together, and then they buy a house before they're even married, also before they even have kids. And they're like, we got a house. And it's like, no, you got a loan for 890 payments. It's like, what?
We bought a house.
It just baffles me. It's like, you might not even be with that girl in 2 years' time. It's like everyone thinks they found the one, but you might not be together.
Do you want the house or do you want people to see that you've bought the house? I'm also aware of an individual that lives back home and he felt coerced into, now I don't know this fella personally, but he felt coerced into getting a house with his girlfriend because she believed it was the next step in the relationship. He went along with it. And for about 18 months, he would come into work with a loaf of bread that would have to do him his lunches throughout the rest of the week. This is a young man that was having to have a loaf of bread every single lunch. Sorry, a slice for 18 months. Because he had to afford a house, to put up the Instagram photo, to say, we have bought a house. I personally don't believe it's a good financial decision if you're buying a house which is going to financially cripple you. To what? To move in? For now what? Now what? Like, I think life is so long. Sorry, life is short, but life is also long as well, and you have time. As you said, people make decisions, people jump into decisions as well. It's like, oh, let's get a dog, let's get a house. You're making a pretty irreversible decision. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, it's like, why not just rent?
What's the benefit of renting? And what's the downside?
You're definitely not tied down. You're not tied down anywhere. If you decide you want to get a job somewhere else, you can move. If you want to go travel the world, you can do that. No pressure at all. Or you and the girlfriend break up. Sweet. You part your ways and then you rent somewhere on yourself. Until you're married or you have kids, there's probably not much point in buying a house unless you're obviously looking to rent houses out and build a business off the back of it. I don't know. It just personally doesn't make sense to me. Might be the wrong opinion, but I think it's completely, it's the most stupid thing you could possibly do, in my opinion.
Renting's costly, but not being able to go wherever you want, like, that is nail on the coffin. So what is priceless is actually is having the flexibility and freedom to go where you want. So I personally, for me, I don't care if it's costly. I don't care what I have to pay. If that means that I could decide I want to up and leave and go across the other side of the world, great, I'm going to do that. And people might be sitting thinking back home, oh yeah, easy for you to say. I mean, you decide how you want to live your life, right? You decide. And if you have chosen a certain path, you will back that up with everything that you have. So there might be people here that have bought a house that are feeling personally attacked by this. If you're happy, great. But I know there are so many guys out there that have maybe been thinking about getting a house. And, you know, if you're sitting on the fence about this, I actually have somebody that would have been that is relatively close to me, and they felt like it was the next step to get a house with a girlfriend. And I had to say to him, I was like, mate, are you really sure about this? Are you really sure this is something you want to go into?
If you're questioning it, just wait. Just wait until you can actually make your mind up, and it's a definite yes or it's a definite no. Do not rush into a major life decision until you have a clear mind on what you want to do. Makes no sense. I mean, hold on. Even the deposit's putting all these people out of so much money, and then they've got to fork out the monthly payments each month.
Yeah, what happens 5 years down the line if things don't work out? And you might think, oh, well, glass half empty. Also, being a realist too, if we look at statistically, most people are going to break up. in your 20s, you should rent with somebody. You should see if this is going to suit. Like, rent with somebody long term. And no, I honestly have no issue with that. See if you're going to get on with the individual long term. I think buying a house off the bat is absolutely idiotic. I think it is the stupidest thing that you could do personally. And also as well, when it comes to rushing into life decisions, how many guys, how many people go straight from school, straight to uni, straight into the corporate job, and they say, oh, I'll do it when I'm older, I'll travel when I'm older, and they never go off and do it. If you're listening to this podcast, somebody out there will hear this and somebody will resonate with this. You're never going to be as young as you are now. You're never going to have as little strings attached as you do now. And it's never going to be as convenient as it is now for you to take risks and go with high risk behavior. That's what your 20s, that's what your 30s should be about. It should be about high risk behavior. And if that means you going off traveling, great. If that means you starting a business, great, do it, because you have time to recuperate down the line. Now is the time when you should be making ballsy decisions. Do you agree?
Yeah, why not? Fuck it. You're only young once. And when you're 40, what are you going to look back and regret? Just do the thing you regret the least. That's the only thing I would advise.
People have listened to the last podcast potentially of when you and I had a few beers out in Spain.
I know, apologies for that, everyone. I was absolutely hammered.
That was your first podcast. I feel like you done really well on that too. A lot of people said they really enjoyed it.
Okay.
You did?
I'll take it.
So, any listeners, take them through where you were then, what life was looking like, and then compare it to now. Because even when I think about that, it's kind of crazy, right? So take them through where you were, what was going on in your life, and then now. For anyone who doesn't know, we're out in Phuket, Thailand.
So I left my job last week. Was it last week? 2 weeks ago, and last Friday I was on the flight out here to Thailand to meet up with Daniel.
Let's give them the real story, right? Let's go from the start. Remember, again, flight nearly didn't happen. You got on the flight. I want to hear about the flight. I want to hear the rundown.
Jeez,
let's go. Let's get into it.
I'm gonna get cancelled. So 6 a.m. comes round, and I wake up. Get an email from British Airways, scumbags by the way. Get an email from British Airways, and they just said, your flight's cancelled. And I was like, what? So this was the flight to London Heathrow, where I was obviously flying to Dubai and then to Bangkok. So I had like half an hour to try to find a flight. Couldn't find a single one from all the airports in London. Couldn't find a single one that would allow me to make my connection. There was then one from Dublin to London Heathrow, but I had to leave within the next 10 minutes. And listen, it takes me longer than 10 minutes to get ready.
You're a 25-minute
show. I'm a 25.
I heard you this morning. I was like, how many pairs of balls does this man have? What is he doing? Honestly, I was like, mate, is he just?
You got to scrub your ass 5 times just to be sure.
That's some get that. That's an emblem.
Yeah,
put that on a wall somewhere.
So I had like 10 minutes to leave. Sped down to Dublin, and just about made the plane. So then the pressure was off. Got into the lounge and just started putting the beers back. So,
was this in London when you got in?
Yes.
So tell them why it was important as well for you. Why it was a big moment for you. As in, you were buzzing about this flight. Give us the full rundown here.
Okay. It was my first time flying business class by myself, paid for by myself. So
at 20 years old.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
It was on the goals for 2023. So just to tick that off, I was absolutely gassed. And to be honest, I've ticked off nearly everything on the 2023 goals. 2024 goals.
Why was that important for you?
Long year.
Why was that goal important for you?
It was just something I always wanted to do by myself and pay for by myself. And it was just a huge step for me. So once I got on that flight, I was gassed. I just thought, fuck it, there's a bar on board. Couldn't have been in my seat longer than an hour, half an hour before I went to the back of the plane and got on the bar. So on the A380 in Emirates, there was a full-blown bar.
The double-decker
plane. And got chatting with the bartender, got chatting with another fella from Australia.
Free drink.
And we just started putting away the mojitos. Then we got on the espresso martinis. I was drinking straight whiskey by the end of it. Put hairs on my chest. tasted like shit though.
Oh my
but yeah, God. No, it was great crack. And
What was it like as a 20-year-old guy, like to come on there? Like, I know that you paid for that yourself and it was one of your goals. How did that feel when you sat in that seat? Because I know to some people it
Yeah.
might not mean anything. Materialistic things
I
are
know.
whatever, but it's not even about that. It's about that you earned.
Yeah, it depends on what you're into. Like, I like the nice things in life personally. That gets me going. And when I stepped on the flight, it was like the first time that I'd thought, fair enough, you've actually done something well here. Because back in February, so February 11th, I think it was, I'd been doing what I was doing in crypto, working my job for about 7, 8 months, and was just losing money constantly. $100 here, $100 there, $100 there. Every month losing money. And I was so close to just quitting.
I remember that.
And
Night.
like, it wasn't just one time I nearly quit. Like, I nearly quit multiple times.
I remember the time you came into the games room.
Multiple times I nearly quit. But I've never been more glad I didn't. Like, when I got on that flight, I just thanked myself, thank God you never quit. And then also, it's like, you can quit in your mind, but like, just never say it to anyone. Just keep trucking away, even though you're nearly out of the game. Just keep trucking away. Put one foot in front of the other, and you might just get lucky. You might. So it's like, just keep trying. And so I gave myself a date, and I said 30 days. Try and make $1,000. Because if I could do it in 30 days, then I thought, mate, right, so maybe it's not a scam. Maybe I could do something with it. And 2 weeks go by, nothing. Was losing money still. And by the final 2 weeks, I'd absolutely smashed it out of the park. And since then, it's not plain sailing. And it's long hours as well, but it's been going well since then. And that was the first time I looked back and actually reflected on and just thought, you know what, fair enough. It's not often you pat yourself on the back.
I'm proud of you.
No, thanks.
It's insane to see. And obviously, you get on that flight, you landed in Thailand, and now you've quit your job. You're out here. People would say traveling. We're sat at the one village, just working, getting up. But for me, I prefer that. I prefer being away, but living. So you're getting up at your normal time. You're working as normal. You're probably working more. We're going to the gym. In a good routine with our food, everything is just dialed down, and I prefer that way of life. It's
a huge change to the life that I was in before, so it's hard for me to adjust. But like slowly, I think I've been here a week and a bit now, starting to adjust slightly. So yeah,
I forget how much of a culture shock.
Yeah, it's massive.
It's not only
It's
like you're
huge.
coming out to a completely different culture. You've never traveled this side of the world ever. And also that you're working for the first time, as in full time, remotely. I remember the first time that I'd done that when we went to Spain, and it was when I left the floor, and
Strange.
I was like, I feel like I should be doing stuff here. I feel like there should be like actual things that I should be doing physically. And it took me a while to adjust. So I'd imagine it's a complete culture shock to you. But I think you going off and doing that, I'm sure there's a lot of guys at your age and people obviously older as well that will take inspiration from that story, that you took a leap and that you took the risk and you went with a high risk behavior. When people question you, people said, I don't know if this is a good idea.
Crypto is not a scam, by the way.
Yeah, what is that about?
Crypto's not a scam.
Clearly, right? Clearly. What about the people that are stuck in their 9 to 5, which they're unhappy about? Because I understand as well, there's a lot of people that are working 9 to 5. They enjoy the stability of it. They enjoy what they do, and they don't want to escape the matrix. They don't want to have the freedom, be able to travel the world and run their own business. For me personally, that's nothing. Like I will never ever go back for working for somebody else. I'll never do it. I'll never do it. So what do you say to somebody who is currently living that life and they want to escape?
Pick a skill, get extremely good at it. It also does not have to be your passion, by the way. That's one thing I believe. You do not have to be passionate about what you're doing. Like, I'm not passionate about sitting behind a frigging crypto chart and looking at Bitcoin and all that stuff. It's all a load of rubbish, but you can make money on it. It's like, just get really good at a skill and then keep working your 9 to 5, save money away until you make enough money or more, and then you can leave.
A skill, ideally, which, if it's something, if it's a skill you're trying to sell, if it's something which something that you're really good at, like, again, you might disagree, but I feel like staring at a chart for hours and hours on end, like, you have to be an extremely patient individual diligent individual. So look at your strengths, look at what you value, look at your strengths first and foremost. What are you good at, which maybe other people aren't? What's your strong point? Okay, can you leverage that into a skill? There are so many things out there, whether that's social media marketing, whether that's crypto, whether that's drop shipping, whether that's copywriting, whether that's at any of those things. And then firstly, ask yourself, is there someone that could benefit from my skill? Yes or no? Because there always are. Okay, can I approach those individuals, make them an offer? And what I would say, if you're trying to leverage a skill to sell to other people, make them something for free first. My VA, who is fantastic, he's unbelievable. I get so many people, right, on Instagram, so many people outreaching to me about copywriting, about editors, and I ignore all of them. This one guy made free videos for me and just put them out on social media. And I was like, actually, I love that. He'd done the work before making the offer. And then we eventually started working together, and we've been working together for maybe over a year now. So how can you leverage that skill to other people? And then down the line, once you've made money from that, can you teach that skill on a broader scale? That's what I want you to ask yourself. So for me, coaching, I completely agree. It's not something that was a passion for me at all. It was only an option because I was like, oh, well, I'm not bad at talking to people. I'm in pretty good shape and I've been coached before, so I know how it works. I'm going to go into that. And of course, there was for me, there was a deeper meaning. Of course, I wanted to help people, but I fully realize that you do not need to be passionate about it. You can take fulfillment in other areas of your life, like your travel, with your family, your friends.
But you'll probably get passionate if you become good at it.
Bingo.
That's what I always find.
Bingo.
Once you become good at something, you're always going to like it.
Do you enjoy anything that you're shit at?
Exactly.
No, of course not. You play football and you're really shit.
Yeah.
Keep losing the ball. You can't even control it. You're not going to enjoy it. When you keep doing it, you keep showing up, you love it. It's like those nerds that sit and are glued to the Xbox for 12 hours a day. They're not sitting glued because they're shit at it. They're good because they've put in so much time, their sweat. Like, do I disagree? Do I disagree with it? Yes. But it still stands. So if you are in a position you don't know what to do, and you're in that 9-to-5 corporate job, what are you good at? How could you leverage it? I always say back to Rebecca, one of our girls that I was on the phone to last night. She worked for, I think it was maybe Uber Eats. It was her corporate job. And she just hated it. She wanted the flexibility. She wanted the freedom to travel. And she bit the bullet. She left her corporate job once she built up her Instagram following. And she went all in. She burnt the boats, went all in, and has lived scarcely to be able to completely pour her heart into this venture. And now she's building a business. She's blown up like 200,000 followers because she's put so much time into it. She's now releasing her ebook towards the end of this year, and she's doing incredible. She was working a corporate job. She absolutely hated it. If she can do that, you can too.
Yeah. I would just get on YouTube. Like, there's so much value on YouTube. Now, a lot of these guys selling paid courses out there talk absolute shite. Like, genuinely, don't even get me started. Yeah, just professional yappers. They will sell you the dream, and that's it. However, sometimes you need to buy the courses. You need to find out it's bullshit, and then you'll start figuring things out for yourself. I joined crypto courses that were BS. But then you start hearing things from someone else, and then you find another group that's actually good. And then you get sent a Twitter link or a YouTube video, and just keep digging. That's the only thing I can say. If you're learning about a skill, especially like an online skill, just keep digging. The longer you fuck around,
what about the people?
That wee sentence.
What about the people that say they want it, but they just don't have the motivation for it?
Then you don't.
No.
Then you don't want it.
You don't want it.
Simple.
You are lying to yourself. You don't really want it. Because if you do you really want it? Do you actually want it? Because see, if you did, if you really wanted it, what would stand in your way? Nothing. If you didn't really want it, what would stand in your way? Just absolutely any obstacle, any hurdle. You would use that as an excuse to take venture in that lane. So ask yourself, do I actually want this? And if you're unsure, I want you to ask yourself the question, if I don't change from today, the way I'm living, in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, how is my life going to look? Am I still going to be doing a job that I hate, where I'm not making money, it's not giving me the flexibility and freedom that I want? If yes, are you going to be okay with that? Are you going to be okay with that? Being average, because like, listen, there's gonna be people out there that they just want an average life. I don't want that. Me and you, we do not want that. I want to really see what I'm fucking capable of in this 100 years that we have. I want to see how much I can make, how much I can live, how much impact I can have. That's what I want to do. So you need to get really clear and ask yourself the question. It's like when people say, oh yeah, I want to get in shape. And there's these gurus that I've spoken about in the last podcast that say, oh yeah, there's people that say online, you just don't want it. Like, that's not true. Like, if you really wanted something, you would make it happen. There's people that have their back against the wall. They will do anything to make it happen.
And they'll win.
And they'll win. That'll be the people in 5 years' time that you will still envy.
Yeah.
And as I always say, the sun's going to rise. It's going to set. The world stops for nobody.
Yeah. What are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? Are you going to wake up and do nothing? Are you going to make a change and do something in your life?
Have you ever been in that position where you felt like you want to change and you just didn't feel motivated to do it? Be honest. You can be honest, because it's okay. Like, people change, right?
No, it's never really been me personally. Like, if I wanted to do it, I would just do it. That's always been the case. Always. And especially when the pressure was on, I got shit done all the time, even when I was a kid.
No
for my
pressure, no
exams, yeah. But if I didn't want to do it, I would have just never done it. Like, when I didn't care about school, I just flunked it. But then when the pressure got put on for A levels, I just turned the ship around, nailed it. So no, not really.
People change when the
Yeah,
pain of staying the same is worse than the pain of change, right?
Yeah.
It's like somebody that's getting in shape. So I want you to, if you genuinely want it, if you genuinely want to change your life, you don't know how, you need to look at how you're living your life first and foremost, right? What would that individual do? Like, I always go back to fitness. If you look at somebody that has a six pack and you want to be that guy, you want to have the six pack, you need to ask yourself, when it comes to every single decision that you make, how would that guy operate? When it comes to going for the pizza or the salad, he'd go for the salad. When it comes to getting up in the morning to go to the gym or hitting snooze, he would get up in the morning and go to the gym. If you ask yourself, who do I want to be? How does he live? And act like that now, you will become them. But also getting clear on how they wouldn't act. So a question that I'm going to put you to, Dean, is if there was three actionable steps for somebody listening today that's going to change their life, what would that be? 3 steps for somebody to change your life. Go.
Get to the gym. Cut out drinking for 3 months. And if you're taking drugs, cut out the gear too, by the way.
Don't be a loser.
Yeah. And fix your diet. Fix your diet. 3 steps.
Why?
Because once you start looking after your body, keeps you busy, number 1. Number 2, you get in shape. So you actually sort of like the way you look about yourself. You get better self-confidence. Then if you improve your sleep, your energy is going to be better. And if you cut out the drink, you're going to feel a lot happier. And especially if you cut out the drugs as well, if you're taking drugs, your dopamine will thank you. So yeah, that's the that's the top 3 for me: drinking, drugs, fitness, and diet. Yeah, and then sleep as well. Obviously, is crucial. But like, you just start there, and you'll improve a lot in a short space of time.
Would those guys you look up to be taking drugs at the weekend? No. Would those guys you look up to be drinking every single Friday and Saturday? No. Would those guys be eating shit and eating takeaways Friday, Saturday, feeling sorry for themselves? No. So you can't expect to be that guy and be acting the complete opposite way. For me, I used to be that guy that used to take the drinks, used to take the drugs, and it took so much pain for me to eventually change.
Yeah.
So if you want to change your life today, also get clear on, of course, what you want to do, but also what you need to stop doing. Because in my opinion, that's going to get you to where you want to go so much quicker. And I repeat this every single podcast, and there's a reason for that, because I want to hammer this home, because it's what I needed to hear.
Yeah. But if you're listening to this thinking, oh, these guys must be boring fucks, just sitting talking about,
Nah.
listen, it needs to be done. If it's 6 months or 12 months of your life, that's all it might take to get your shit together, stop drinking, get fitness together, and improve your sleep. It might only be 6 to 12 months, and then you can find balance.
We have the crack. We went
Yeah,
out Saturday.
exactly.
We got
Yeah.
on the rip, right?
But then for 6 months, 12 months, I was extremely bored.
And it was
But
difficult.
you need it. You definitely need it.
What do you say to those guys that go through the lonely period where they're trying to improve themselves and they
It's grim.
don't feel like other people get them, that you're being too extreme?
Yeah.
What do you say to, like, you're getting those comments, you're being a bit too much now, you're taking it too far, you're being too extreme? What do you say to those guys that are starting to listen to those
Yeah.
comments?
Just block it out. There's genuinely nothing you can do. Unless you've a good friend group around you that are on the same sort of path, then you're by yourself. And you just gotta dig deep. There's nothing else you can do. It's such a shit situation. It's grim, but listen, that's what it is. And that's why not many people make it past that, because it is grim. Yeah.
Don't succumb to the lonely period.
No. It's not easy, but yeah.
Don't succumb
Sucks.
to the lonely period, because on the other side of that is the life that you love. On the other side of that is freedom, is being in shape, is being confident, is all of those things.
Once you can learn, if you can learn to say no, like my problem was I could never say no to a night out. That was my issue. I could never say no to a night out
How did you learn to say no?
because you say no once. That's it. And then you realize, fuck, it's not actually that hard. Then you say it the next week, and then after a while, it's just second nature. It's easy to say no. I could never do it before, but then now I can do it, and I don't get fear of missing out anymore. I used to get it every single night out, so just say no once. That's all it is.
That's good advice.
There's no secret sauce. Like, it's just say no once.
Yeah, and you can either worry about saying no to your friends and looking uncool, or you can have the regret of wishing that you were different in 10 years' time and wishing that your life was completely different. So the choice is really yours. For me, that's a really easy trade-off, But like, I went through the lonely period. I always talk about when I went to Boojum and watched Narcos every single Saturday. I know me and you both have had that. So being in the other side of it, realize that life won't always look like that, but you need that period of suck. I look at every single person, and also it's time spent in the game. If Ronaldo didn't show up to practice, he's just a guy. If Michael Jordan didn't show up to practice, he's just a guy. So the lonely period is part of this, but it's also making sure that you consistently show up day in, day out throughout that lonely period too.
Also, just be smart about it as well. Instead of going out drinking with your mates, ask them to go meet up and do something else, a sober activity, like a meal. Like, it doesn't have to be so shit.
What do people do if they're listening and they feel like the only thing they could do with their friends is go out drinking?
Then you're probably not that close with them. If you can't go out with a meal with them sober, then I mean, you're just drinking buddies, like. But yeah,
you've had that,
take
right?
up but take up a hobby. Go do something else with your mates. I took up golf. Extremely
What a middle-aged man.
bro, extremely shit golfer. But yeah, I took up golf and it was actually great. Like, when I was dieting really hard and when I was trying to focus on a Saturday, I would just take myself off and go golfing. Like, if people were out drinking, I would just go golfing by myself, or I would meet up with my mates and we go golfing together, because then you're still hanging out with your friends, but it's just not in a nightclub.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be that shit.
If you consistently do activities for downtime, which you're going to benefit from the next day, that's how you know you're on the right path. Because if you're always doing activities which is taken from the following day, that's going to catch up with you eventually. And I also think that you can have friends that you maybe only see when you're going out. It's because that you realize that might not always be the case. I look at Longwell's my best mate from back home, and we went through a period where I was heavily on the party scene, and we only would have met up when we were chinned on a Friday, when I was really drunk on a Friday. And when I look back at it, I think for about 2 years, Longwell and I probably never had a sober conversation with each other. All we did was party. Now, it was great. I'll never forget those days for the rest of my life. No, it's so different. No, it's so different. Of course, we meet up, we do sober shit. So I understand that some people are just in that part of their life. But if you feel like you're different, if you feel like you have more to give, then you need to break out of that. And eventually, some of your friends may catch up with you as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to befriend everybody.
No.
I've seen a lot of things on like TikTok. It's like, oh, you need to distance yourself really far from your friends. It's like, no, you don't. You can still have them friends.
Yeah.
You don't need to be antisocial. Maybe just see the ones that drink a lot less.
Yeah, it's not. You don't need to cut out fun.
Yeah, just be smart about it. Like, it's not. You do not need to become a recluse with no social life. Like, that'll do you more damage in the long term.
Why?
Just you will not be able to. You won't be able to go out. You won't be able to socialize with people. You will not be able to communicate
With women. Fire in the booth,
Bro's getting called out on live here.
Fire in the booth. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of these gurus out there that they preach this message that you can't have any fun in your life. Who said fun had to mean going out and getting absolutely chinned on a Friday? Alex Hormozy put up a post the other day, which I really disagree with. He said it's an absolute red flag when he sees people out there celebrating birthdays. What a rogue call. I feel like people out there just make these posts just to rile others up, so we talk about them now.
I love the man, but fuck me, lighten up. Like, oh my days.
Lighten up. I don't want his life.
Mate, neither. But I love the man, love what he says, but
Absolutely.
holy shit, just have a bit of crack. You might only live till you're 60 or 70. You get 60 or 70 birthdays. Enjoy them. It's crazy. I don't get it.
Yeah, live your
Don't
life,
shame
man.
people for celebrating their birthday. It's mental. I don't know. I don't get that.
Live your life. You're not going to get these days back.
Never.
You're never going to get these days back. And there's going to come a day where you look back and you're 80 years old, you're in the rocking chair, and the only thing that you'll have is the memories that you share with your friends and your family. And if you just have your head on the grindstone, you're working day in, day out to never actually enjoy the fruits of your labour, then what have you?
Nothing.
Not a fruitful existence.
No. So what I would say would be, in summary, you need 6 to 12. If you're not doing anything right now, you need 6 to 12 months, I would say, of just straight up grinding. Cut out the drinking, improve your sleep, get your fitness together, and start working on something. Then you can find your balance after that. One, or maybe it's not 6 to 12 months, maybe it's 2 to 3 years, and then find your balance. Then you can start going out a bit more. And then the way I like to look at it is seasons after that. So I would like to do like a couple months of really working hard, and then I'll take 2-3 weeks, just chill out, go out, have fun. But you can still celebrate your birthday. It's like, bro,
You can still enjoy yourself.
have a day off. Like,
Of course. So we are going to run into some quick fire, well, semi-quick fire. I don't know how long they're going to take. Questions. So I put up a Q&A on my IG the other day, and I'm taking some of the questions to answer here. So we'll go one about, right?
calm.
You can answer. Well,
Bro, someone better not ask me for dating advice. Like,
so
Bro's cooked.
what do you believe is the biggest misconception people have about me?
Oh shit. That you're extremely loud and energetic at all times.
I'm so glad that you said that.
This guy's like a vegetable in the house, man.
yes. And that's,
However, a lot of the time you are really high energy.
no,
but-
I would disagree.
But there are times you are like an opposite vegetable as well.
I'm a vegetable.
So everyone thinks Daniel's like 100% energy all the time. What's happening, mate? What's the da-da-da-da-da-da? Then but no, you're
it's
like
not realistic.
no.
It's not real life. And people will say, "Oh, you're not being real." That is a part of my personality. When I'm in the right setting with the right individuals, I'm high energy. Most of the time, I'm low energy. Why? Because I'm a human being. It's so abnormal to be like that at all times. And anybody that I do see like that at all times, I actually put a question mark above that individual because I don't feel like that's natural. I don't feel like that's also healthy to feel like you need to upkeep that high energetic. I used to think I did, and that was actually a problem because I felt that I was putting on a facade when I wasn't like that.
Mm.
That's a really good answer. I'm glad that you said that.
Thanks, bro.
Use your high energy hours. Use your high energy hours. It's like when I go like the way I'm with my girlfriend is not the same way I'm with Dean. The same way I'm with my clients. The same way I'm with on social media. You need to show up for different people differently. And for me, when I come onto social media, I want to bring an energetic version of me because I want somebody to watch my content and feel good after it. I want someone to watch my content and for that to catalyze change. I don't want to come on and be a veggie and not impact somebody positively. And if I choose to be high energy through that, great, my channel. So that's how I'm going to do it. I'm glad that you said that.
Right, next, am I asking you?
Well, yeah.
Oh, I just picked the question on the spot.
No. So we're doing the same one, right? So what do you believe is the biggest misconception people have about you? So
Prepare to be cooked.
I feel like this is maybe about both of us. People assume that we're dickheads. I think people assume.
Talk for yourself.
Okay,
mate.
maybe I'm talking for myself. I think
Nah,
people.
go
I think
ahead.
people assume that we
yeah.
are up ourselves, that we are dickheads. That
Well, everyone used to think about that. Like me. Well, to be fair, in school back in the day, people would have thought I was a ball bag. But I might have been a ball bag. Who knows? When I was younger.
yeah,
But it's like
people like again, it's face
they
value.
do assume when you try dress yourself well.
And you carry yourself with
Yeah.
confidence, or you maybe talk a certain way,
Yeah.
or you post certain things on Instagram. They think, oh, ball bag. I understand that. We're also human. I'm also well aware that everybody shouldn't like me. I'm well aware that there's going to be people that dislike me. That's okay. We're all human here. You're all allowed an opinion. And if somebody dislikes me, that's fine. That's cool. I remember back in the bot days, back in 2020, 2021 maybe, there was this bar in Belfast and I went over, I was single at the time, and I went over, I was chatting to these girls that I thought were good looking. They were good looking. Afterwards, a couple of hours later, this girl came back round to my table and she sat down. She had a good few drinks in her. She was well further on than what she was before. And she says, do you know what? You're not actually a wanker. I was like, what?
Yeah, people would have said that to me before.
Yeah, you're not actually a dickhead. And I'm like,
Geez, you're not actually a ball bag. It's like, all right, cheers.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I think people, especially in the Western world, maybe just in the UK, that if you're slightly loud, extroverted, or boisterous, then you're just a wanker.
Yeah. If you don't dress like a Trump as well.
Yeah, of course. Because what should everyone just dress down now?
Yeah,
like,
I just
question. I just
I used to
don't
get
this.
told all the time, you love yourself too much. I'm just like, the fuck do you want me to hate myself?
Yeah, I do.
It's like, shut up.
Yeah. What's the alternative?
I hate myself. It's like, oh, what a fantastic way to live your life.
Yeah.
Hating yourself. Yeah, everyone used to say, oh, you love yourself too much. I was like, yeah, I know.
If you don't love yourself, there's a problem. If you don't love the one person that you have that's constant in your life for the rest of your days, that is a problem. You have one house that you live in, the house between your ears. And if you don't get on with that fella up there, that's a problem. So you have to love yourself. You have to love yourself. And how do you love yourself? Through showing up for you daily, through keeping promises that you make to yourself, through getting to the gym, through eating healthy. Hold on, you buy a car for 10, 20, 30k, you spend £500 on tires, yet you won't spend money on a gym membership, on new gym clothes, on meal prep for the week, but you're going to go out and spend £100 on a night out. You're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Next question. How do I fix my laziness?
Right. I mean, I would have been lazy, especially in the morning time. Like, I wouldn't have done much. So, this is how I sorted it out. The most key one for me was phone at the other side of the room at night time. And as soon as the alarm got off, you got up, and that was it. That was like number one for me. Second, what would second be? How do I stop being lazy?
Most people
Stop drinking
Yeah.
as well. Yeah. I don't know about you, but my hangovers would have lasted like 3 days. So then by the time it's like, I'm not even joking, by the time Wednesday would hit, I'd still be dying.
You get hangovers so bad, don't you?
Yeah. Any of my mates will know it's not good.
You sitting on a Sunday
Yeah.
in your room, the room smells like guff. You're sitting crying at a rom-com.
Yeah.
That's standard Sunday in our house
Oh.
back home.
You know, if I'm sticking Notting Hill on a Sunday, like I'm in Marvin's room.
I've got nothing
Yeah.
left.
But back to the laziness point. So, phone to the other side of the room, cut out the drinking, and then diet is really important, do you not think? Diet and fitness. That is really it, isn't it? I don't really see any other.
Okay.
I don't know if you have any good
Okay.
points
So
on that.
this is how most people live their mornings. People ask the question, how do I get rid of my laziness? This is how you get rid of your laziness, right? This is how most people are living their lives. You wake up by the alarm, you hit snooze, you roll over for 15 minutes. You wake up again, you scroll for 30 minutes, you see what's going on, what your friends are doing, what other people are doing. You roll out of bed with your eyes half closed. You make yourself a cup of coffee before you've even gone outside. You then get to the shop and get your 3-piece, your sausage, your egg and bacon bap. Then you go to work, and before you've even started your workday, you've scrolled, you've consumed the shite. You haven't even given your body an opportunity to wake up yet, and yet we're wondering why we've got no energy, why we're lazy.
It's definitely, I would say, number one is that scrolling in your bed in the morning.
Of course it is. Absolutely. Of course
It's happened to me,
is.
like especially if I be hungover, or even if I'm away on holiday, I'll restrict myself less, and I'll notice within like a day or two if I wake up and the alarm's not at the other side of the room and say sit beside me in the bed, I will hit snooze. Like, I'm not perfect. I will hit snooze, and then I'll scroll on Instagram for 30 minutes. That's when I'm on holiday.
Yeah. So if you're somebody that's
and
low,
after that I'll have no energy. So that for me is number one.
if you're somebody that's low energy and you're watching this, from today, I want you to put your phone at the other side of the room when you go to sleep tonight. Put it outside the room, even better if you can. Wait 90 minutes before having your first bout of caffeine. I would try and get outside if you live somewhere where it's light when you wake up. Try and get outside within your first 60 minutes. I always say sunlight before screen light, even if it's 5 minutes outdoors. And don't go on your phone. Don't go on social media for the first 2 hours of the day. If it's different, you're going straight into work. Okay, that's different. But if you're rolling over and you're going straight into Instagram, you're shortchanging yourself, and you're actually making your life a lot more difficult than it needs to be. Then you're jumping from pillar to post, using caffeine. Another thing as well, most people think it's the morning routine which gives them energy. It's actually your evening routine. It's the fact that you're smashing caffeine, you're smashing a coffee at 5-6 o'clock in the evening. So caffeine is a half-life of 6 or 7 hours. So if you're smashing a coffee at 6 p.m., which is maybe 100, 120 milligrams, half of that, 60, 70 milligrams is going to be in your system circulating at 12 a.m. when you're wanting to wind down. Then you wonder, why am I not getting good sleep? You may be falling over, but you're not actually getting quality, deep sleep. You sort those things out, and that's going to be huge for you. Also, getting really clear on, well, you said yourself as well, stopping the drinking, not stopping the drinking, doing it less. Doing it a lot less. And making sure that your sleeping and waking times are great. Okay, here's a question for you. Do you usually wake up feeling energized on a Friday?
Yeah.
Do most people wake up feeling energized on a Monday morning?
No.
Okay, so the reason for that is on a Friday, you've had 5 days where you've got up and you've gone to sleep at the exact same time. Your sleep clock is in sync. When you wake up on a Monday, you've had maybe 3 days of getting up and getting up and going to sleep at different times. Your body clock's out of sync. When that is in sync, you will have so much more energy. So that's how you're going to get rid of your laziness. Get rid of the vices. Actually give yourself an opportunity to feel energized. Cut the shit food. No phone as soon as you wake up. I want you to implement those. And I want you to let me know on Instagram or in response to one of my emails this week if you found that helpful. That's going to be key. But I want you to remember, if you're a slave to your devices and your vices, is that really how you want to live your life? Like, are you really okay with living your life, waking up, oh, TikTok, Instagram, oh, where's he? What are you doing? Your ancestors fought and died for you to sit on your ass, hitting snooze, and scrolling on your phone. That is embarrassing. You're a young man. I don't give a fuck if you're 18, 19, 30, 50. That is not what we're here to do. We are built to wake up, to fuel ourselves properly, and to attack the day and attack the life and make the most of the life that we do have. Do not be a feather in the wind. You are the captain of your ship, and do not let those things take control of you. Oh, fuck phones, fuck social media. No, they're ever present. They're going to be in our life for the next 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. You may as well take control of it. You have full responsibility at all times. I'm somebody that used to be held by the balls by my screen time. But you're in control of that. You can change that. So set those standards in place, set those boundaries in place. Change your habits, you change your life. Bingo. Next question. We're on a roll, boy.
Yeah, boy.
Okay, we've answered a few of those already. 3 action steps to change your life. Do you love what you do? We've kind of answered them already.
Your great-grandad didn't die.
Your what?
Your great-great-grandad didn't die for you to rip an AM jerk.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, your great-grandad didn't die for you to just pull the plums off you before your 8 a.m. Get up. I'm worried about looking cringe, but want to start posting on Instagram.
Ooh.
Okay, you're worried about looking cringy. Oh, he's so cringy. Oh, he's embarrassing. Here's what I need you to realize. Donald Trump, there was an assassination on Donald Trump 4 weeks ago. Probably the most notable event of the 21st century. If you're listening to this today, I want you to ask yourself, when was the last time you thought of that? When was the last time you thought of Donald Trump? Did you think of Donald Trump this morning? No. So if the most notable incident in the history of the 21st century can be forgotten about like that, what makes you think that you're so important? What makes you think that the mistakes that you're making, people have them top of mind? They don't. You're not as important in other people's lives as you realize. That is not a burden. That is a liberty. So post the video, start the business, ask the girl out, and don't be afraid of the repercussions, because life moves on. And if life moves on for Donald Trump, for the Queen dying, life moves on for you too. That's comfort. So post the fucking video.
Yeah, no one actually cares.
And people will chastise you. I hate when people say this in the gym. Nobody's judging you. Of course people are judging you.
Yeah, but for like 5 seconds and then they get on with their life.
I know.
Bro, who cares?
Who cares? Who cares? People are going to judge you. We're human beings.
Yeah.
I've judged people. We're all normal. Like, that is normal, innate within us.
Yeah. With that first social video though, you just need to post the first one. Trust me, that feeling will only last for the first one. And then it'll be easy after that. So muster up enough courage and just get the first one posted. That's it.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you how you're going to become confident in the next 60 seconds. Yeah. Very simple. Confidence comes through competence. Being good at something. And you can only become good at something through doing it consistently. Time spent in the game and building reps. So the only thing between you and becoming confident in that realm is reps. Time spent in the game. That's good news for you. Everything that we do is a skill, and the more we practice a skill, the better at it we become. So the more you do it, the more confident you'll become. So you have to accept that you're going to be uncomfortable. You have to accept that you're going to suck at it at the start. But when you suck at something and you do it often, you become good at it. That's how you're going to become confident.
Yeah.
So do it, even when you feel uncomfortable. Next question. Okay. Ooh. This is a good one for you, Dean. Some hard-hitting content here.
Let's hear it, boy.
Tits or ass? No, that wasn't actually
face game.
Oh
yeah.
That wasn't even my question.
Bingo.
But I completely agree with Dean. I'm a face game kind of guy. The face game's the money game. So yeah, we'll breeze past that. Well, why face game?
For me personally, I don't get the whole tits and ass thing. Like,
why?
I
back this too.
I just think it's stupid.
I back this.
I don't know. I don't get it that much. I understand it, but I don't actually get it. The face is the most important by far, and it's not even close.
Yeah. If you have a female that, from a societal perspective, isn't in mad world-class shape, but her face is a 12 out of 10. She is a 12 out of 10. If you have somebody who's in ridiculous shape, but their face is, from a style perspective, a 6, you're a 6.
I don't know.
And-
It's personal preference, isn't it?
Of course, personal preference, and people get held up on others' personal preference. It's like, oh well, I don't date black girls or I don't date white girls. It's like, well, no, like, you can't be cancelled for that. It's like that's your preference. You're allowed. You're a human being. You're allowed to decide what you want.
Facts.
Dean,
Yes, bro.
what's the best piece of advice that you wish you knew earlier?
I'll need to think about that.
What's the best piece of advice that you wish you
Okay.
knew earlier?
Probably to take self-responsibility for everything, and that yeah, that, and also the fact that you're probably not actually a rod, you're just living your life in a shit way. That was it. So I used to think I felt like shit, and it was like because mental health, and like I just didn't feel good, or I was like anxious or any of this rubbish, or personally
You're allowed to say it, mate.
yeah, any of that. But it was literally because I was living my life in a shit way. I was drinking every single Friday, Saturday. I wasn't training. I wasn't looking after my diet. And like in my head, I didn't put the blame on any of those things. Maybe just because I wasn't aware that's what the issue was. But like that is why I felt the way it was.
Do you believe in depression? Honestly, as if there was no cameras here, do you believe in depression?
No.
Tell me why.
I mean, you can feel depressed or sad, but this is my personal opinion.
Of course.
You can feel sad, but it doesn't mean well, maybe there is clinical depression out there. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But the term depression, the way 90% of the people use it, in my opinion, is a load of BS. I think anyway. And also, you're literally just saying, if you go out and just start saying, oh, I'm depressed, it's like, what benefit does that do for your life? If you're just going out and saying you're depressed, it makes no sense.
Oh,
Like-
I'm anxious, I'm
Yeah.
depressed. Stop telling yourself that. Because when you keep telling yourself that you're depressed, when you keep telling yourself that you're anxious, you're rewiring that to your brain and body. You're telling yourself a story, and that story is going to be backed up through behavior, by sleeping in, by not going to the gym. You telling yourself that story is not serving you.
Yeah. I think
That's a really good point that you made.
yeah.
That
Like people get sad, especially like over stupid things and just the way they're living their life. It's like a bad day is gonna come one day. I think Tate said it. It's like a bad day is gonna come, and it's like just enjoy where you are now. And like whatever you're going through now probably is not that deep.
good
like-
times don't last, bad times don't last, and that's life, right? Things go up, things go down, and eventually there will be equilibrium until the next peak or trough.
Yeah.
So
I'm not saying that people don't go through hard times in terms of when I say I don't believe in the whole depression thing. I just believe that
people can feel depressed.
yeah, you can feel depressed, but I don't know about the way most people use the term depression.
Yeah, I think like
I think a lot of people use it as a cop out to make themselves feel more comfortable about the way they feel. And it's just
are
I
you
don't know.
sad or are you living
a shit
a
lifestyle.
really suboptimal life? Are you sad or are you living a suboptimal life?
Yeah.
Are you sad or are you just hitting snooze every morning and not going to the gym? Are you sad or are you eating really poor quality foods and scrolling for every hour of the day that you get free? Are you really sad? Because if you are sad, if we look at depression and someone who's clinically depressed, right, let's take that aside. If we look at somebody who's sad, that's circumstantial. You can change that. And, if you're in a position where you feel really sad right now, good. You can change it. Like, the only way is up from here. And that's a positive thing. That's liberating that you have control over. And realize everything is input, output. And here's what I mean by this. Everything in life is an equation. When we get in extreme output, usually there's a more extreme input. So if you're feeling sad, something with the input is off and needs to change. And if you change the input, the output will change. If you are consuming way too much food and you start eating less food and maybe exercising more, the output, how you look, is going to change. So I want you to ask yourself today, how do I feel? Is my life moving the way I want it to? If no, okay, something input wise needs to change in your daily actions, because what you do repetitively day in, day out, that's what decides how you look and how you feel in the life that you live. Okay. So really good point from you, Dean. I rate that heavily. And I lived a whole, I'm depressed. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's only your fault.
Yeah.
And it might not be, no matter what hardship people face, it might not be your fault, but it is your responsibility to take control and change your life. But the one thing that people do wrong, which I done wrong, the one thing that held me back when I believed I was depressed, when I was anxious, when I was stressed, when I was having suicidal thoughts, I pointed the finger at things that were outside of my control. I said it was his fault, it's her fault, this is the way I am, I was born like that. Whether that's true or not, that doesn't serve you. It doesn't give you the power to change it. And as humans, you're human, which means you're capable of doing incredible things, and we are capable of always changing our outcome. We're always capable of changing the life and the trajectory that we're on.
Yeah. If you go around telling people you're depressed, you might just start to believe it. And also, you're going to give the power of that depression word, it's going to take over you. I don't get it.
Personally, for me,
you have no benefit in either believing you're depressed or believing in depression. It does not benefit your life in believing in you being depressed or anything. Just tell yourself you're sad. I don't know. That's the way I look at it personally, and I feel like
since I started looking at it like that, it completely changed my life. Yeah. I was somebody that was like, oh my god, like I'm super like depressed.
No, you might just be having a shite day.
Exactly. And what goes up comes down, and it's the bad days that make the good days feel great. And who said, where's the rule book that says every day needs to be class? Where's the rule book that says we need to feel great every single day? Where's the rule book for that?
Yeah, not every day. Yeah.
Imagine these aliens came down from Earth and we got to explain to them how the human existence works, that you get to feel stress, you get to feel anxiety, you get to feel happiness, euphoria. They would think, oh my god, this is unbelievable. We get to experience all these different emotions. Class. Unbelievable. So realize it's just part of life, right?
Yeah, just become a stoic king.
Stoic king. We focus on what we can control only.
Don't feel anything.
Yeah. Me, absolutely stone cold, emotionless.
Yeah.
No, feel your feelings, dance with the emotion, and do the thing anyway. That's how I like to operate and live my life. Nice. So yeah, I feel like we've answered a few questions there and probably around for a while. So listen, guys, I hope you enjoyed that podcast. I always enjoy the conversations that we have. Dap me up. Big love. Proud of you.
Well,
and
a bit more sophisticated than that. Come on here, bro. We're in a podcast studio.
Let's go.
Sort of.
I appreciate you guys listening. If you enjoyed the podcast and you want to hear more, please like, share, follow. We're going to be starting an Instagram page too, where I think it's going to be called Dargan Podcast, and we're going to be firing clips up there every single day. So please stay tuned for that. You'll see that more about that on my actual personal Instagram, Daniel Dargan page. And I will catch you in episode 27 in the next one. Big love, Dean. Thank you, man.
Cheers, bro.